Hey, what's up, guys? I just realized that I have never done a movie review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Why? I don't know. I have reviews of pretty much all of them. I have one review that's the original trilogy of reviews in one video. I have The Amazing Spider-Man as a review, and I have Spider-Man Homecoming as a separate review, and also I just recently uploaded Spider-Man Far From Home. But I have not done Amazing Spider-Man 2 as a separate video movie review. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. And after seeing the latest Spider-Man, Spider-Man Far From Home, I am having a lot more appreciation for the previous films. And that is the Amazing Spider-Man films they only made 2 of them. And honestly, they probably could have made more of those. And the Sam Raimi films, I've always loved those, the trilogy. And Homecoming I liked. But damn, this new one. What the hell? But this review is about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and appreciation for this film, which honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I think it has its problems. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, my favorite 2 Spider-Man films are Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2. As a companion piece, 2 films. Those films together are great. And honestly, if they knew they were going to have trouble later on, they should have just called it quits and not made Spider-Man 3 and so forth. But they wanted that money, they wanted to make more, and people love Spider-Man, so why not, you know? I can't fault them for it. I love Spider-Man films. I love everything Spider-Man, but doesn't mean that every single one is great. But this one is a mixed bag. It's not as bad as... I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I think it's just basically, Peter has graduated from high school. He's getting kind of... He still has issues about making this promise with, Gwen Stacy's father to keep her safe and keep her away from dangerous situations and to keep him away from her because he knows his lifestyle. If people found out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, anything that he loved would be in harm's way. And that's what Peter's trying to do. He's conflicted because he wants to go by that promise. He wants to protect Gwen. And he wants to stay away from her. He doesn't want to be in the relationship, even though he really wants it badly. He wants it to work. He wants to keep her safe. And there's always this breakup, makeup type of thing with them. And it's throughout the picture. So Peter... he's reunited with his old best friend, Harry Osborn. And Harry's having difficulty. His father's dying. Eventually does die. Something to do with genetics, DNA. Something to do with... I don't know exactly, but the cells mutate him and make him look greenish, kind of like a Green Goblin. This time around, they're kind of having more of a natural kind of thing. Instead of, Green Goblin wearing a suit, it's more of a natural thing that controls him. So it's DNA. And Harry doesn't want to die. He doesn't want to end up like his dad. He doesn't want to go through this, transformation and mutation of the Green Goblin. So he needs blood, basically. He found out he has the right kind of match, or the blood that Peter has can help save him from, a certain fate. But Peter doesn't want to give him any of his blood because obviously he has, Spider-Man DNA. He has, special abilities because of the bite he got from the spider. So he doesn't want to give that to Harry. So Harry is pissed. Eventually, Harry ends up becoming the Green Goblin at some point. And he wants to get revenge against Peter and Spider-Man because he finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, and I'll get to that later on. But Spider-Man is introduced to a lot of people. This movie has a lot of story, a lot of things going on. I think that's why people compare it to Spider-Man 3. There's just a lot of stuff going on. We're introduced to this nerdy guy, which is I can't think of his name on the top of my head, but he's Electro. He becomes Electro anyways. The nerdy guy is kind of, he has an anger issue, obviously, and he gets exposed to radiation and, turns into Electro. His skin's all blue and he's electrified, and he's very angry about things. So he decides to take world dominance. And of course Spider-Man's trying to prevent him from hurting people. So he's got a lot on his plate. He's dealing with Electro, he's dealing with, Green Goblin, which is his best friend, so it's a conflicting thing. He wants to stop this guy, but he also doesn't want to hurt his friend. Then he deals with Rhino in the beginning of the movie. And there's these setup for this movie was a setup for a Sinister Six film. This is going to be a separate film of all the villains. There's going to be Dr. Octopus. It was going to be Green Goblin, Rhino, Electro. It's going to be a few people, and that got canceled because this movie didn't do that at the box office. But Spider-Man's dealing with all this stuff. Plus he's dealing with a girl that he's in love with, that she's planning to move. She's gotta live her life, she's gotta live her dream. She can't keep thinking about him and his, we're together, we're not together, I can't deal with this, I don't want you to get hurt. She's all for it. She wants to be in a relationship with him. She wants to take the risk. She wants to be with him. Eventually he caves in and says, okay, let's be together. In this movie, eventually, as he, saves the world from Electro, he has to deal with Green Goblin at the end. And he takes Gwen Stacy and he, captures her and he drops her. As Spider-Man is trying to save her, and it's a difficult task for him. He's got to go through so much bullshit just to try to save her. And his web shoot, he shoots that web shooter, and by just a hair, if he could have got there faster or quicker, he could have saved her. But just a little hair, and she just, that it doesn't save her life, because she ends up breaking her neck with the fall, and she dies. So that's kind of a downer ending in a way. She dies. Harry Osborn is in prison, and at the end, after the grieving and the day, months have passed, and Peter is finally, he watches a speech that Gwen Stacy did, and gets him motivated, and he goes out in the street where Rhino's, creating problems, and he's gonna continue on. So, and it ends it there, and that's a good ending. It's a kind of a positive message, to overcome your demons and pull through. But it leaves it open for sequels. I heard that a third film was supposed to be about Mysterio, actually, or something to that effect. Possible Black Cat, and of course Mary Jane would have been in it. Actually, her scenes were deleted from this film. The girl that played in was it Cheryl Wood? Is that her name? Cheryl, I can't think of her name right now. She's in the Divergent series. She was playing Mary Jane. Yeah, and they cut her scenes completely. I would actually have liked to see what she did, at least. I don't know why they cut her scenes out. Although you do see her for a brief second. You see her from the back side. She's a waitress. You can see her from the back. So you see her just for a second in this film. But yeah, the problems I have with this film, mainly, it's kind of long. First off, it could have more action in it, possibly, but I think the main issue I have is the Green Goblin costume. I thought that looked terrible. That looked so bad. That looked awful. It wasn't even a costume or anything. It was just a mutated mess. Okay, who the hell designed this thing? Why don't you just leave things alone? Stop changing it unless you can make it look good. This was just rushed. You should have just had him wear a costume. And just not only that, it's like this has been done before. We saw Green Goblin already. Why are we seeing him again? But I guess they did this because it's supposed to be comic book accurate, with Gwen getting killed by the hands of Green Goblin. Understandable, but can you make him look like Green Goblin instead of mutated, half man, half green looking, whatever the fuck that was? I don't even know what that was. I wish they would make it comic book accurate the way Green Goblin looks on the comic book. I wish they would. Just give him a rubber mask. It would have looked better than that crap that we got in this movie. Just give him a Halloween mask. Would have looked better. Honestly, it would have looked better than what they gave us. It was so terrible looking. I mean, a Halloween mask and comic book accurate would have looked kind of cheesy, but at least it would have looked accurate, and at least it would have been kind of fun than this. So that was a main issue. Rhino was annoying. I didn't like the actor that was playing it. People compared this to Batman and Robin. No comparison. There's no freaking way that this is even close to that film. That movie was just bad entirely. This movie just had a couple nitpicks that were bad, but overall, I mean, it's okay. It's a decent movie. I liked Peter Parker better in this film than the first film. I thought Peter Parker was too arrogant, and he didn't act like Peter Parker in the first film. This, he felt more like Peter Parker. And he was more mature, too, in this film. So he's more likable. So I don't know. I mean, I don't get all the negative stuff about this film. I mean, it's flawed. It has some flaws to it. It's a little cheesy here and there with, you know, Electro. It's got some. You know, it's not perfect. Spider-Man 3 wasn't perfect either. It was kind of disappointing at the time period because you're comparing it to the first two Spider-Man films, were freaking awesome. But looking back now, I mean, Spider-Man 3 and, you know, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 are like Oscar worthy compared to this new Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home is really a disappointment, a filler. It's basically just a filler episode from your favorite TV show. Alright? That's basically all it is. It's just a useless, plot points. And the movie just doesn't go anywhere. At least these films went somewhere. They were daring. They took chances. There was risk. There was lives at stake. It was gritty. It was more grounded in reality. It was more relatable. The new Spider-Man is just like fluff. Saturday morning cartoon stuff. I wouldn't compare Batman and Robin to the new Spider-Man Far From Home, but I don't know. I mean, it's just it could fall in that category because it's almost in that league almost. It's just not as cheesy and campy as that. But the dialogue and the story that was developed for that film wasn't up to par. It was pretty weak. But these films, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think people should probably go and watch it again. It's not as bad as what people are saying. I thought it had problems, but it was actually not that bad. So this is my review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was, they at least tried. They weren't successful, but they at least tried with this film. They at least made an effort with character development, with some depth to the characters. The dialogue was at least interesting. At least it had something to it, some kind of depth to it. than this new Spider-Man film. That was just like empty calories. You know, there was nothing. It's like drinking Diet Coke. You know? It's like nothing there. It's like empty. It's what I felt when I was watching that new movie. It was complete. I had an empty feeling inside. I was just like, really? So anyway, this is my movie review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I hope you enjoy this review, and I hope you guys have a good day. Hit like and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. Alright, you guys take care.